away, and how lucky I was to knew her in my 30s and my 40s. From the age of 31 to the age of 49. So almost all of my 30s and my 40s, I knew Susie. And how lucky I was to have her in my life. Because she was really, most of the time, an angel of light. And she really was a great person for so long. It's just the last year and a half, she was just so depressed, And I'd seen her go through other times where she was really depressed, but nothing like this. Actually, I will say in 2009, 2 years into knowing her, she went through a really bad time because she had gone through a mold thing where everything in her apartment got contaminated. She even got rid of her car, and she was having to take a bus from Santa Monica to the Valley where she worked, and she was going through a really bad time. But I sort of feel like most of the while she was okay between then, although in the middle period, I would say 2016, 2017, 2018, she was depressed over not being with the right person because we weren't really a couple anymore at that point. It was more like we were sort of cuddle buddies and consoling each other, and she would cry about not finding the right person and not having had kids and not having, so she still did go through those kind of depressions, right? But then, in 2019, she went to Italy, and I feel like that kind of picked her up for a bit, I feel like that really, that kept her going for a little while, Sometimes you can go travel and that'll kind of keep you going for a while. The feeling she had about going to Italy. And then a year later during the pandemic, that was hard, but in a way it was nice for her to not have to, go to the school and everything. And she was teaching online, although in some ways I think that was bad because I think in some ways teaching for her was kind of cathartic, And anyway, so it was really the last year and a half that was getting harder and harder. After she turned 50, she was having problems with her neighbors and all that. Then she moved. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I was just thinking about her a lot, I was just thinking about her a lot. I really miss her. And anyway, so we're going to go on a little adventure. We stored our cars and we got the U.S. rail pass, okay? But my friend Lauren invited me out to Seattle in middle March. I think she said around the 14th or the 15th. She's having a memorial for her mom, and she invited me, even though I hadn't met her mother. She invited me because, I don't know, because I'm close to her and I'm close, I know her dad a little bit. And I think she maybe wanted me to play some music. But I did actually decide that I'm not going to bring my guitar on the trains because I've been walking a lot today with my guitar, and I just don't want to do it. It's just too much to carry it around everywhere. I thought it was going to be, this kind of thing that would be fun, but I want to enjoy this trip. I don't want to have 18 bags. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have be all weighed down by a bunch of stuff. And I love the idea of having my guitar, but I'm just not going to do it right now. Maybe I'll come to some cafe and there'll be a guitar I can play. But right now, I'm just not feeling lugging this thing around unless I take a bunch of the stuff out of the guitar. It's just also this guitar bag is not. It's not equilibrium. It doesn't have good equilibrium. Maybe I should put it in one of those other cases that have like a backpack kind of thing. I don't know. I just think most likely I'm not going to be bringing it, you know. So, unfortunately. I mean, if it comes to a thing where somebody offers me a gig somewhere, maybe I can rent or borrow a guitar. But I'm just not, I don't feel like I've done the thing where I'm lugging 100 pounds around, and I just don't want to do it anymore. You know, that's just where I've come to. But anyways, so there's my brother. So a year ago, we had come back from Japan, and I had gone to Seattle. And a year ago, and then from Seattle, I went and joined my friend in Thailand. And I was in Thailand for a month. And then on the way back, I hit up Norway because I found a $175 ticket to Norway. And then about the same price going from Norway to Miami. So it was a way for me to kind of check out Norway and Miami. And then I was back in California late April. And I don't know, I did a lot of shuffle around those couple months because our whole thing was we were going to go to my uncle's wedding in June, late June, and then we were going to maybe travel again. But then Susie passed away, and that really kind of threw a wrench into my plans because I was, maybe I should have traveled after that happened, but I was just feeling so crummy. It might have been smarter for me to travel, actually, after that happened, now that I think about it. But I'm doing it now. It's taken me 8.5 months. I've done some stuff in between. I've done some I did back and forth LA a few times. I did Yosemite. I visited some friends in Fresno. So it's not like I haven't done anything in the last 8 months, but it has been a lot of time of contemplation and heaviness and difficulty and turning 50. I turned 50 2 months ago. So I don't know. I feel okay about getting older, even though I didn't accomplish as much as I thought I would by 50, but I still have a lot to do, and hopefully this decade will be a lot better than the 40s. Although, the 40s there was some fun that I had in the 40s, I will say. Especially, I would say, the first half, up until the pandemic, right? Because I was 44 when the pandemic happened. But you know what? I had some good times after that. I had some good times when we went to Washington. We were in Washington I was in Washington for a couple of years. I enjoyed my time in Washington, honestly. I think those are really good couple years that I stayed in Washington. I left Washington. I was already 47, and that's when I started traveling a lot more. And it's been a wild ride, honestly. It has been a wild ride. And so I'll let you know. We're going to try to figure out exactly what we don't even have an exact rail plan. Like, I know I would like to go to Seattle. I'd also like to maybe go to Texas, Florida, maybe even East Coast, New York. We'll probably go through Chicago because a lot of the trains go through Chicago. I'm not as interested in Chicago as I am a lot of other places because I went to Chicago about 1.5 years ago. No, actually almost 2 years ago I went to Chicago. So I'm not as interested in Chicago at this point. Um, but it's always fun to go around Chicago for a bit. So we'll see.